What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to the channel. And today I have a new trials build for you guys on the Blink Hunter here, of course, or you don't have to use Blink, but I'm going to be. We're going to be focusing a ton on blinding our enemies today. You'll see that when we get into Arc 3.0, but I even have a secret way to blind our enemies that they won't see coming. See, if I just pull my hood down, I can put my fat chrome dome in their face and absolutely knock their eyes out of their skulls. Now that being said, most of the ways we're going to be able to blind our enemies, except for showing them our very shiny head, is going to come here from the Arc Strider subclass, so let's go ahead and break those down. Now I do have Gathering Storm on. Right here I have on Gambler's Dodge, so we can recharge our melee ability when we dodge near an enemy. I have on Blink, of course, and then this is where we start with our blinding stuff, right? So we have on Disorienting Blow, so we punch them, they're going to get blinded, and that also amplifies us immediately, which is very nice. Most parts of your kit to get amplified on Blink Hunter, on Arc Strider I should say, you need to actually kill the enemy once they're jolted, but with this, all we have to do is punch them once, and we do get amplified. That can be very nice for starting off some tears at the beginning of a round. After that, I'm going to have on Flashbang Nades, of course. You can throw this in there, get them blinded, follow up with whatever kind of damage we want, close range shotguns. That's what we're going to be doing today, and you'll see that very soon. Over here, we have on Flow State, of course, so when we kill them when they are jolted, we get amplified, just another way to get amplified. And then Lethal Current, which is another way to blind them. For the most part, this is mostly useful for the extra lunge distance, the little explosion it lets off. After you do your dodge, you can punch them and get that off, right? But it does say damaging any jolted target with melee attacks also blinds them, so just another way we can keep punching them, and even if we don't have Disorienting Blow up, we can actually blind them with our punch still. Now down here we have Spark of Haste. This gives us plus 30 to our resilience, recovery, and mobility when you're sprinting for just a second, so very good. I can get max mobility just from sprinting for a few seconds. After that we have Spark of Ions, so defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace, just another way to get our abilities back even faster. We love to see that. Spark of Beacons, which I usually don't use, but I thought it'd be pretty funny just to throw it on. I don't even know if I got any use out of it today because it's very, very seldom that this thing actually works. It's mostly made for PvE, but what it does say is while you are amplified, your arc special weapons final blows create a blinding explosion. So we have an arc shotgun on today that I'm going to show you in just a second, but if we are amplified, which we can do pretty easily with this build, then we can take out the next person with the shotgun and they'll blow up into a blinding explosion. So there is the other way we have to get blind on our enemies. So we have one more way to get blind on our enemies. We'll get to that in just a second because I want to finish our fragments with Spark of Shock. So that just says our arc grenades jolt targets, so we can throw in our blinding nade here. They get jolted, we take them out with a shotgun, we get an ionic trace, we also get amplified, we can go on to the next person. Since we're amplified, we can take them out with a shotgun blast, they explode into a blinding explosion. So you kind of see the combo right there. You can combo a lot of the fragments and jolt and amplify all into each other very well with this build. I already talked about the shotgun, so I'll cover it really quickly. I'm going to be using the Matador 64. This is a precision frame shotgun arc, of course. I just have perpetual motion on this thing, not very good with the 1-2 punch, but this is the best roll that I have, and it's quite useful. For our primary, I pulled out the Outbreak Perfected, one of my favorite pulses in the game. It's just a very fun one. It is technically a lightweight frame weapon, but it doesn't actually give you the lightweight frame weapon boost like the 20 mobility and the sprint speed. I don't know why. Some exotic weapons, depending on what frame they are, they just don't do the same like effects that frame does. I think it's just part of being exotics. They don't want some of them to, but yeah, this one doesn't really do it, unfortunately. So you'll see when I pull this thing out, I don't really start moving faster, so that's why I don't really care if I'm running with this out or running with my shotgun out. We'll finish it off by going over our armor and mods here. You can see some targeting stuff on. We have on heavy-handed and firepower, so we can make orbs of power from our nade kills and from our empowered melee kills. Down here we just have some unflinching stuff. And then we have on actually 3 mods here that I do want to talk about, and our exotic. So the exotic is going to be the Bombardiers, however you want to say it. Now, this is going to blind our targets. So this is the other way, just one more way we have to blind our targets. You can do a dodge in front of them. It throws out a blinding nade, and that can blind your enemies. And if they're touching the nade, it can actually do around 100 to 120-ish damage, so it does pretty good damage. Now, after that, I have these 3 mods on so we can get our abilities back really quickly. First of all, we have Absolution. It says it reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an overpower. So all of your abilities are going to get some cooldown right when you pick up an orb. After that, I have Innervation, so reducing grenade cooldown when you pick up an overpower. And then I also have Orbs of Restoration, so you pick up an overpower and it grants a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy. So with all 3 of these, every time we pick up an overpower, we get a ton of energy back into all of our abilities. Finishing off on our cloak here, I have 2 bomber mods and a reaper mod, so we can use our dodge, go in with our lethal current, take somebody out, and spawn an orb of power pretty easily if we kill them with our shotgun. All that being said, it's a pretty straightforward and simple build. I kind of just want to do something fun this weekend, which sucks because this weekend is the worst weekend of trials I have seen in 2 to 4 months. It's terrible. It's Distant Shore, and the matchmaking, they changed it from actually being based on your card wins to just like connection based, and it's terrible. It is also no flawless pool, which of course we're not there yet, so that doesn't really matter as of yet. We'll see how that goes on Sunday. But yeah, if you're thinking about playing trials this weekend, don't waste your time if you're like not really into it, especially since the adept weapon you can get from the lighthouse is the machine gun. which who cares about the machine gun? They're not even good in PvE meta right now. Like, they're just fine in PvE meta. And if you're going to use a machine gun, you're just going to pull out Thunderlord, not this stinky little thing. So don't waste your time playing Trials this weekend. If you're someone who gets like frustrated easily, especially at this bad meta, it's on Distant Shore, and that has some of the worst lighting in the entire game. People are just abusing the range on the map. It's cap point, so you have to deal with that crutching as well. Everyone's still crutching their Immortals, and it's just Archtitans and all this stuff. It's a terrible, terrible weekend. So if you don't want to deal with that this weekend, I do not blame you, but you can still use this build like in comp if you wanted to. So, you know, you can still use this even in sixes. You could probably still have some fun with this build. So that's why I'm still going to show it off to you guys. And I suffered through Trials to get you some good footage, so you didn't have to. All that being said, I think we can go ahead and get to that footage. So let's go ahead and blink on into it. So in this first round, it's actually going to be a heavy ammo round, and it's funny, I kind of want to talk about, we were talking in the server earlier, like I said, go ahead, join the Blinkville Discord server, and people were saying they actually like Distant Shore, you know, and I was telling them why it's so bad, which is a lot of reasons. If you guys don't remember, there was 2-3 seasons ago, I forget at this point, but a little while ago, and they had a Distant Shore weekend. It was around the time when they started doing cap points for the first time in Trials, making actual cap point weekends and doing those trial labs, right? And what they did is, I think either the exact next weekend or the weekend after they did Distant Shore Trials, they made it Distant Shore Trials with cap points. Because the thing was, that Distant Shore weekend without cap points was one of the worst weekends of Trials in history, which is a repeating theme that you'll see when they do Distant Shores, even with cap points. The thing with this map is that it's really long range, it's really easy to sit back and not take engagements. So the thing that would happen was, without cap points, every single round would go to time, which can be fun to happen every now and again, you know, you have more of a chance to get your supers or whatnot, but it really sucked when every single round was going to time. It was just so annoying and everyone hated it. So then they brought it back with cap points. Here's the thing with cap points, you can see where we were playing on the outside of the map there. Now we're playing on the inside of the map this round because the cap point moved, right? You gotta go player on that cap point most of the time. That's nice because it actually keeps the rounds moving in this mode now on this map. So we like that, you know, we can actually get through the match without sitting there for 16 years, like we're stuck in the fucking Space Mountain line at Disneyland. But besides that, the map still kind of sucks because, well, a lot of the meta sucks right now, but the biggest thing on this map is obviously the lighting. The lighting is way too bright. It messes a lot of things up, it's hard to really see, but invis is really easy to abuse on this map. Obviously, everyone's still doing their Arctitan stuff, you know, there's the usual problems like that in Immortal with the meta right now, and it's even exacerbated on this map. I really don't like it. I think a lot of the angles are a little too cluttered. I actually like playing the outside of the map more than I like playing this inside area of the map where I'm at right now, but that being said, with the actual cap points, you don't get to play the outside every time, you have to play inside, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Now that being said, let's actually talk about this build a little bit. So I try to get some clips and I'll point them out for you when we get to them, showing off these bombardiers and how you actually use them. They are actually a pretty solid exotic, even if you're on a different subclass like, you know, Solar or Strand, whatever it may be, they're very good. I like it on here because obviously I'm playing Blink Hunter, this is the only subclass I really play with my Hunter, so that's where I'm using them. They're just mostly for fun, but look right here. I dodge backwards, it blows up, it does 121 damage to him. It got rid of his Arctitan shield that he was charging at me with there and just aping me, right? And it did some of his actual shield. Then I was able to smack him super easily with my shotgun and take him out. That's how you want to use and how you need to use your bombardiers. You wait until you can bait somebody either around a corner, so like this doorway in front of me is a great place you can bait with your bombardiers, or most of the time you're going to see somebody's shotgun rushing at you, and once they're rushing at you, you're just going to dodge backwards, it's going to throw the bomb up. The bomb can do, like I said earlier, anywhere from like 60 damage if they're kind of far away from it. Look right here. I actually killed him with the bombardiers right there, because I smacked him with a shotgun shot, and then boom, it blew up and smacked him into the next decade. Now, like I was saying earlier, if they actually are right on top of that bomb when they're shotgun rushing you, it can do upwards of like around 120 damage, which is extremely solid damage when you think about it. So I really like to use it mostly for baiting people out when they're coming at you with a shotgun rush. Another great place to use it is when people are behind Titan shields. If they're just sitting there having a fucking tea party with their 6-year-old behind the Titan shield, what you can do is kind of run at them, do a dodge backwards like you see right there at the last second, and then they might come through that Titan shield because they think you're rushing them, right? They get ballsy, they come around through the Titan shield and try to fight you. They're going to run straight into that nade. Even if they don't come out and hit that nade, what's going to happen is the nade actually does around 200 damage, if not a little more, to Titan shields. Obviously, that's pretty close to actually just breaking the Titan shield outright. So what you can do is take a shotgun blast straight through the shield and either kill the enemy through the shield, or you can shoot one more time and it's going to kill them through the shield really easily because you just broke it. So the bombs are really good for baiting enemies out, breaking Titan shields like right here. You see, I'm going to dodge backwards to bait him out. It blows up. It actually did hit him for a little bit, but it actually broke the shield very easily. I shoot my shotgun shot in there with a combination with the Bombardier bomb. My teammate shoots in a Celestial Fire, and we take that guy out really easily, even though he thought he was safe behind his Titan shield. So those are the situations you're actually looking for to use your Bombardiers in, and if you can do that, you'll be pretty successful. Now, I gotta say, it takes a lot for me to usually get tilted, but this weekend was really doing it for me. I already hated Distant Shore, and then when I saw it was cap points, I was really even more tilted, but the biggest problem with this weekend is Bungie is doing another part of their Trials labs, and what they're doing is they got rid of card-based matchmaking this weekend. So we don't have the usual, oh, if you're on a 7-win card, or on a 6-win card, excuse me, going for your Flawless Lighthouse game, usually you would match another team that's also going for their Lighthouse game, right? Not this weekend. This weekend is much more just actual connection-based matchmaking, and it has been absolutely horrid. I hope they don't actually get some kind of good signals from this weekend somehow, and think that this is how they need to change the direction of matchmaking in Trials, because it has been terrible. A terrible starting day of Trials here, and I'm scared to see what the rest of the weekend's going to bring, especially since I think I mentioned in the intro, it's not going to have Flawless Pool this weekend, which I think is actually good. I think it's time for Flawless Pool. You can see me baiting this guy with my Bombardiers here again, doing 78 damage with a Bombardier from that distance that he was away, taking him out easily with my shotgun here. Anyways, as I was saying before though, I think it's time that the Flawless Pool goes away. Mostly because, for me personally, and maybe this is a selfish reasoning, I can fully acknowledge that, I get Flawless on Friday or Saturday usually, and then I want to play with more people on Sunday, and they don't have Flawless a lot of the time. And I want to help them get that Flawless. You know, I always want to have fun with them too and just play the game. But the thing is now I'm bringing them into Flawless Pool. There's all these tryhards in there, and it can still be tough and non-flawless. Like, anyone who's played the game knows that there's still some tryhard stinkers no matter where you are, right? But when you get rid of that Flawless Pool, you let everyone play together, and you have a much more of a chance of going Flawless when it's just everyone versus, oh, now we're in the Flawless Pool. Nice Bombardiers play here, just dodge backwards. That thing does like 110 damage, you can see there, next to the pellets. Hits some nice pellets too. Takes them out, gotta love it. But yeah, I think it's high time that Flawless Pool actually makes its exit from the game. I'm sick of it, but this connection-based matchmaking BS that they're doing, and these weird little pools and stuff that they're kind of separating people into, it needs to stop, because it's just not the move. So I'd like to see that go away, but besides that, I do like the takeaway of Flawless Pool here. As you can see here, my teammate was AFK the first round, that's why we lost. So at the beginning of the second round, I said, alright, I see that he's a Titan, he probably has rocks in his brains and crayons in his asshole. So what I'm going to do is just punch him in the face a bunch of times, like Floyd Mayweather, and then maybe he'll actually start moving, and somehow it actually worked. So, hey, if you ever want to see an AFK teammate start moving, I don't know, just beat the living daylights out of them, and maybe they'll start playing the game. Now you can see here, I started having some fun with these rounds. Like, when you can just go on a tear like this, I love rounds like that. You can see we're amplified just from like beating these guys up with Lethal Current and the Disorienting Blow. That stuff is really fun. I don't use Disorienting Blow that much, just because I really like Combination Blow and how you can chain it off of your Gambler's Dodge to almost always have up your punch and your dodge. Great blink here to actually get around to the side of my enemy to a point where he didn't think I was going to be able to shoot from. Since he didn't see me blink across that entire lane, he didn't know I was there, I tore him up. These guys weren't watching their radars, they were very fixated on my teammates, so I took them out very easily too. Did a dodge before I went in, farmed some damage off that Titan shield, always do that, you know, big brain play right there, and then take them out very easily. But as I was saying before, what was I saying before? Oh, yeah, that's right, Disorienting Blow. I do like it, I just think that it has a lot less usage in PvP than the actual Combination Blow has, because Combination Blow is so good. It gives you healing, you know, and it lets you get your dodge back up immediately. So much of this stuff, and then you have a dodge that literally lets you get your melee back up. So they just work so well off of each other. I think it's just kind of a crying shame not to use them together. But that being said, if you're gonna use Disorienting Blow, I think it's fun to go ahead and put on something like right there and put on a flashbang nade, you know, have some fun with that. I do want to mention, so first of all, that flashbang killed him, and I'm not amplified, even though I have jolting nades on. So if the nade is actually the thing that kills the enemy, sometimes it just won't make you amplified, even though they technically do jolt the enemy. Since it like jolts them at the same time it kills them, I feel like it doesn't apply to amplified sometimes. So keep that in mind. It's kind of stupid how that works, but this is Bungie, we're talking about things don't usually work. Secondly, I want to mention your little Bombardier bombs right there, they don't apply jolt. They apply blind, but they don't have any jolt on them, which I think is kind of weird, in my opinion. Like, how much better would those things be? Oh, and there's some nice melee lock on, just lethal current charged up to him and then just didn't do the damage. So, you know, just again, you know, more Bungie shenanigans. If the game actually worked, then, you know, we'd all have fun playing it. So we can't let that happen. No, sirree. That being said, I think a great thing to add to Bombardiers would seeing these Bombardier bombs, yes, they could blind, but also add a little bit of Jolt. Jolt is like the only negative debuff we have besides like blind on Arc. I think it would be great to see those Bombardier bombs be able to do both of those. It would actually add more use case to these bombs as well, and this exotic in general, and make people want to use them more. And that's what we need in this game right now. The biggest reason why people don't want to use anything besides Worm Crutch and Stompy Crutch is because they're so good. And a lot of other things are just kind of lacking. Shinobu's Vow, Lucky Raspberry, even Bombardiers and Gemini Jesters, Foe Tracers, which is literal wall hacks, are all amazing choices. But the thing is, when you give someone the choice of just slapping on Stompies or Worm Crutch, that's what they're going to take most of the time. Because those exotics take 0 brain power. You don't have to think about using them. How do you use Stompies? You run and jump. Great. I'm not fucking Mario Jumpman Mario, but I can do that pretty well. How do you use Worm Crutch? You press your dodge key and you get a free heal. That's all super easy. And I'm not saying that you're a stupid player if you want to use those. You're a pretty smart player if you want to use those because they're effective and they're easy to use. So I understand why people use those. The thing is, you start taking these other exotics like what I'm using here with the Bombardiers, and while they're a lot more fun, they don't have as much use to them, right? The actual use case for them has to be, I'm next to an enemy and I dodge. Then I can actually do damage with that, right? Otherwise, you're not getting any use out of your exotic. So why would people use that over an exotic they can use 24/7? I don't think they need to go changing the game to where they can use Bombardiers 24/7, but they need to do some kind of actual balancing with the exotics in this games to make something like this a little more tasty, to put it simply, you know? Make me want to sit here and go, I want to lick that sweet, sweet Bombardier and get those sugar crystals straight in my frickin' mouth hole. Because right now, there's no goddamn reason why I would put these Bombardiers on over the Worm Crutch, over the Stompies. Why would I do it? What am I getting out of it? A fun time? Sure. But if a fun time meant anything to anybody playing Destiny 2, then they would play a different game. They don't care about having fun. They care about slapping their grandma sillier than Grandpa did in World War II. And I can't fucking blame them for that, but I sure wish they would just stop it sometimes, put some Bombardiers on and have fun. But if the player base isn't going to make the conscious decision to actually go ahead and do something like that, then Bungie needs to step in and give us a more alluring options on something like this Bombardiers. Give us more reason to use it. Make the actual bombs have a longer radius. Make it to where it has a faster cooldown on your dodges when you have Bombardiers on, you know? Maybe every time you dodge when you have Bombardiers on, you could get a 200% regeneration to your mobility, or to your dodge, I should say, for the next 5 seconds. That would make it so much more enticing. I wanted to show you this clip because that guy's actually cheating right now. He had some crazy wall hacks, and if you notice that round, he killed us with a stupid smack of his sniper, of course, but also he hit all 3 of us with tractor cannon. You notice anything funny about that? You can rewind if you want to. That was not a heavy ammo round. No heavy ammo spawned that round. He just started shooting a tractor cannon because he had infinite special ammo and infinite heavy ammo. If you're saying, was he really have infinite special ammo? I want you to watch this clip really quick so you can see his aim hacks. First of all, 1 headshot, 2 headshot, 3 headshot. That was the first time anybody died that round. He had infinite special ammo because he just took 3 shots with a sniper without picking up a single piece of special ammo the entire round. I encountered a lot of cheaters and hackers today. It is pitiful right now. I really hope they can step it up and start banning these motherfuckers soon, because I am sick of it. And that guy was just icing on top of the cake. Now, I do want to talk about one fragment I have on this build, which was my Spark of Beacons, which is the one where if we are amplified, we can kill somebody with our special weapon that is Arc and make them explode into Arc energy. I think I kind of mentioned it in the intro, but I don't think I got a single piece of damage off that fragment today. I actually did a video the other day in case you are interested in what exactly you should be using at all times on your Arc Strider. I did a full about 30-minute video going over these supers, fragments, aspects, and abilities to teach you exactly what you should be using when it comes to this subclass. If you are interested in that kind of stuff, I'll leave that on the end screen so you can go ahead and watch that next. Now the thing is, when I went over Spark of Beacons, I said, don't use it. And I did mean that. The only reason I used it this weekend is I kind of reminded myself while I was making that video that this fragment even exists. It's pretty good for something like PvE. If you don't know when you blind your enemies in PvE, it's actually a pretty strong effect. You know, there's a reason people like that and disorienting nades and stuff in PvP, or in PvE, excuse me. Obviously, blinding is a very strong effect in PvP too, but it's not the best fragment, this Spark of Beacons, because the radius is really small and there's just so much setup you need to do to actually get it to work. First, I have to get amplified, and then I have to go in and take out another guy with my shot, like right there. I got the explosion from the arc from killing him when I was amplified with my shotgun, right? Look at all the setup we had to do just to get that happening. And then I got no payoff from it anyways, because I don't have any other enemies around that guy when I killed him with my shotgun there. So the explosion from the arc literally did nothing. And that's the kind of stuff that just sucks a little bit, so hate to see that. We actually killed that guy there, though, with the amplified, or the disorienting blow on that first guy, so we did get amplified off that. Pretty cool, you'd love to see stuff like that. And that is something I want to talk about, because I really do like that aspect of the disorienting blow, that you just straight up get amplified off of just punching someone in the nutsack. Like I said in the intro, usually you have to take somebody out when they're jolted to get amplified, but when you just punch them with this disorienting blow, you straight up just get amplified, which is a very nice thing to have. Don't sleep on that. It's probably one of the best parts of that, melee ability, is the fact that you just straight up get amplified. Obviously, the other part is the blinding, which is very strong too. But the thing is, most of the time when you go in to punch them, you're already having your lethal current up, so you don't really get use out of the blind from the disorienting blow, because there's not too many situations where you're actually punching somebody first and then punching them twice. Like if you're double punching someone, then the disorienting blow could be nice. But at the same time, if they punched you first, then they're just going to punch again, and even if they're blind, most likely they're going to get lucky and actually get good melee lock on and kill you with a second punch anyways, and you guys are just going to trade. So like, disorienting blow is not really that great in PvP, but I like it. Now, all that being said, this is the very last clip I have for you guys today. I really appreciate you watching, and if you do want to leave me a like or subscribe, I'd very much appreciate that. I have a new Blink Hunter build out for you guys every single weekend for Trials of Osiris, so if that's something you're interested in seeing next weekend, then be my guest and join the channel, because I'd love for you to see that. If you want to join my membership, go ahead and click the join button below the video so you can check that out. That extra mile of support really helps me keep creating the best content that I can for you guys, and really just keep helping our channel grow and our community grow, and I really endlessly appreciate that stuff. All that being said, as this plays out, I'm going to go ahead and let you just watch and enjoy, but that is it for me today, so as always, have a great day, Guardians.